This is Hot Mike.
Hot Mike.
On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo. It's that time. An author.
Offensive production, number 1. Number 2. I forgot.
Golfer.
It'd be like going on a 3-person best shot, and we were saying, Kolpack, you got to make a 25-footer every time. You wouldn't putt first. I'd have Tim putt first.
And one heck of a TV personality.
This game is for the Cooper Cup.
It's the Forum's Jeff Kolpack.
4! I should have yelled 2.
All right, everybody, here we go. Hour 2. Jeff Kolpack joins us. His appearance is brought to us by Northwestern Mutual. We missed you last week. We were busy doing Valley Media Day, as you were as well. What did you make of what the congregation was like in Sioux Falls?
I thought it was outstanding. I did. I thought it was outstanding. I hope they keep doing it. I think we will always try to be there, certainly.
Yep.
So I missed last week. Was there a barbecue here that I didn't get invited to?
2 weeks ago we had it. You were in the midst of your vacation there, so
I didn't see the memo, though.
No.
I would have came over.
Hey, the hot deal was that day I was going to the dentist, right? Later was whether to eat before or wait and see if there'd be anything left over afterwards, and I decided to go for it and eat before.
Fine. I see my point on the pecking order here. No problem.
You got it. It's good.
No,
Right?
yeah.
What? Speaking of which, what number fall camp is this for you coming up?
Oh, gosh.
Wednesday.
95 was the first year, so 30.
This is an even 30.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
30 years.
Yeah.
My God.
Obviously,
Rocky Hager.
It's certainly changed, but give us a couple from those early days. For those, my first one covering anything like this was 2004 when I was covering Giants training camp. What those were like in those days?
Well, first of all, Media Day was Jewel Ronigan Steaks.
Wow.
He's a bison booster who has since passed away, would furnish steaks.
That's
for all
fantastic.
the media.
That
It was
is
like
awesome.
really awesome. Then Rocky would get up there and talk like for 7 hours. And just like
Where was it at?
the BSA.
Okay, so you're inside
Yeah.
the BSA doing it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then actual camp, like you could be there entire time?
I could go anywhere,
Yeah.
anytime.
Yeah.
Go out and about up until 2013 when
Yeah.
Craig Bull shut off the border.
Yeah.
Because he's so worried about Bill Snyder
Yeah.
in Kansas State getting into some.
There were drones or something.
Oh, my
flying.
goodness.
I would never
He kept
forget
looking
that.
across the street because Bill Snyder rented an apartment.
I will
And
never
Brian
forget that.
Gordon,
Never.
now
Oh,
Commissioner Gordon,
Commissioner
Brian
Gordon, yes.
would walk the grounds. And they were so suspicious of University Drive. So suspicious.
Well,
They kept looking over there.
For good reason. Forest Communications, our pilot brought binoculars to Frisco the year before. So no wonder Bull was on red alert on that. I will never forget that. Like, BG would be looking over, and those houses are almost, some of them are gone now that have been knocked down, but be literally scanning over. And meanwhile, people could just park and watch practice in those days, because remember at that time they were redoing the practice fields now, which is completely gone because the new indoor performance is. So they were practicing beyond the old soccer, where the soccer field used to be out there behind the track complex. That's where they were practicing.
And paranoia
that
is
year.
real in football.
Oh, my
And I'll
God.
give you a sample. Richard McDonald, who our friend who designs the fields with the Dallas Cowboys. So Jerry Jones on the star in their practice field. All of a sudden, somebody puts up an apartment complex across the street. So what does Jerry do? He puts up an office building like twice as high, so the Philadelphia Eagles cannot rent that apartment
Of course.
and study the Cowboys'
man.
practices.
The only reason I ask about that, just of the evolution of what the practices were like, because there were 2 days. There were 2 days when I first started
much
covering.
more intense.
It was crazy. The Oklahoma drills were going, all that stuff. That's not the case
I shouldn't
anymore.
say intense. I mean, they're much more comprehensive, I guess. You had 2 or sometimes 3. I think Rocky had
Sometimes
3
3
a day.
days. Yep. I mean, you had full pads, and it was knockdown, drag out
And as
stuff
Craig
there.
Bull once said, the old practices were last man standing starts.
Right?
It's not the way anymore.
it's
Nor
not-
should it be.
No, and granted, you have to adjust on that. It's just the interesting of the perspective of you've been doing this now. This will be your 30th camp of what we have coming up now on Wednesday. And it's not to say it's not as tough. It's not as physical. It's just different of how it goes about, specifically on the college ranks, and they've done it when they were in 1995.
Yeah, it's more calculated, I
Yes.
guess, in the health and well-being of student athletes. Plus, these kids are bigger and
Yes.
faster and stronger. than they were in 95. They just are. Well, 95, they're Division II. But you have to play that into account, too. You just can't keep banging at each other and just banging on each other and do, what's that drill where you got the offense, defense?
Oklahoma drill.
Yeah, it's the Oklahoma drill.
That's the Oklahoma drill, is right.
We called it different back in the junior high days, but I can't remember what it was.
Was the interest level from fans as ravenous as it is now, Jeff, when you were first like, okay, hey, here we go. Give me some position groups to watch. Like, who are a couple guys to watch? Do you remember that in those days?
No, it wasn't like this. I mean, certainly with us, we're working together more than we ever have, TV and news side. And so that's different. We're doing much more than we did, and certainly. I mean,
social media certainly jump-started that, too.
Although my first camp was, again, 1995. Lou Ziegler was the editor, and so I was like, okay, I got to impress the editor. This is my first time. So, and after the first month, he goes, well, and I'm just working hard. And he goes, well, that's a pretty decent pace you started with. I go, I mean, I got to pick it up.
Right, you got more to do. Yeah, that's kind of the deal it is. And obviously the attention level of college football is so different, too.
TV, everything's made a difference. Certainly the fan base has grown exponentially, and so there's that. I think we have readers now with digital products all over the country that get the news the same time as our regular readers in Fargo, Moorhead, or West Fargo and the area. So with the phasing out of the printed product, the actual newspaper, I think it's brought a whole new part of our fan base, and we're growing. I mean, as you know, Forum Communications, our digital subscriptions are growing at a much better and bigger pace than the rest of the country.
I think interest level to me always is very depending on the storylines heading into that particular season. Last year it was obvious of new head coach. Opening with Deion Sanders in Colorado, that was no-brainer what you had. This year, okay, you have a changeover. You have a new quarterback. You've got 5 new assistant coaches. The schedule opener isn't necessarily headline-grabbing. This is a more subtle, I think, way of fall camp's going to go in for Bison football.
Yeah, not as big of a bang to open up the season, although I think the Citadel, personally, I'm so looking forward to it, just in the military school.
Everything is different about it.
I can't wait to see it and get there. But, yeah, it's different in that regard. But, attendance isn't maybe what it used to be, but do not take that as a sign that interest is not what it used to be.
Yep.
Because we see our ratings.
Absolutely. Yeah, the interest level of Bison football is
still there.
It's not waned at all. It's just the amount of people going to the games is a whole other deal. What I am interested on and we're going to get to this here in a second, maybe we'll save it for our next segment, the individual position battles, which is something we will always talk about. That, to me, is really intriguing this time around. And not even quarterback. Offensive line goes without saying because there's going to be 3 new starters there, 2 new starters at the linebacker spot. That, to me, is what the next month is all about. Is for me as a broadcaster, you as a journalist reporter, of identifying these guys are stepping up, and these are the ones that you're going to need to pay attention to once we get to August 30th.
And once we get to August 30th and we get into September, here's what I'm going to pay attention to. This is the best core receivers in the FCS.
I think so.
I think it is.
Yep.
I think it is. It's certainly one of the deepest NDSU's ever had.
When I laid out the preview on, I'm like, I don't know who will be better than this.
How are they going to use them?
Yeah. Yep.
You're not going to go air Polisek because that's just not the way he's wired, and that's not how they do it. But how are you going to use those receivers?
Well, it's interesting. We thought last year the Bison threw a lot. They ended up having the same amount of rushing touchdowns as they did passing touchdowns last year. That, when I look back, that surprised me because I thought the way they aired it out, that it would have been a little bit lopsided. It was not. It was dead even last year.
And I'm also curious to see how long it'll take Miles Money Mitchell to maybe be the premier back between him and Penu.
I think Barika's solidly number 1.
For now, yeah, but he's got to maintain it.
Yeah, he's a senior. I think. Yeah, I think so. Being a senior, I think that means something to him. That he's going to be the guy.
Jury Crockett type of scenario.
I think it's more 2014 when you remember Crockett was the guy and got 18 to 20 carries.
Going to be the guy.
I think so. I talked with Polisek about this, and this will drop tomorrow night on WDAY, Wednesday on Inforum. That he envisions having one guy get the lion's share of the carries, and that right now would be Barika. Now, after that, they brought in 2 transfers. They brought DJ Scott in from Kennesaw State, Cortez LeGrant from the University of Minnesota. Neither guy has played a whole lot of college football. Money Mitchell's never played a down of college football. So there is experience, and then there is a drop-off, and then you have Owen Johnson out there, which I don't know how much they're expecting out of him.
But I thought Money had a pretty good spring.
He did. I think, again, he's never played it down to college football.
But he had a couple moves in that spring event, that I don't call it a game, that I thought were very Bison running back-like.
I think remember, the fourth non-conference game isn't until the very last game of the season. So they have basically 3 non-conference games. That's going to tell the story of how much Mitchell will play. If there's enough burst there, I think we talked about this ad nauseum last year, that the 4-game deal is done. Redshirting guys is done. If you can play, you're playing, and that's it.
And I think we need to look at, okay, you talk about the burst. That's a great point because, I mean, as good as Marty Brown was last year, he never really had that breakaway burst.
It did not happen. No.
One time in the playoffs, and that was against an inferior opponent. So we'll see if somebody has the burst, that breakaway 60-yard jaunt that just out-sprints a secondary guy who has an angle on you.
There's another guy, another freshman too, Charles Ross III out of Kansas City. Another guy that he got here in June that is super slick and electric. That's a position to, I think, certainly to watch. With Marty's departure, that's one that I'll have my eyes on come Wednesday when it all begins. Let's break. We come back. We'll hit Kolpack with the positions we're watching in fall camp, get his thoughts on that. Much more on this Monday morning edition of Hot Mic right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Jeff Kolpack back with us. His appearance is brought to us by Northwestern Mutual. Our friend Randy Reinhardt, who works for the Bloomington Normal, the Pentagraph, which is a great newspaper name. A little basketball news here. Illinois State basketball coach Ryan Peden has confirmed senior Bowden Skunberg has suffered a knee ligament sprain, but expects Skunberg to be ready to go when practice begins.
Remember, he's been hurt a lot.
He missed all of last season with a foot injury, so he's using now. This is his 6th year of college basketball. He still has 1 year to play, but we'll see if the Jamestown kid, get out there and play at Illinois
Happy
State.
Gilmore, thumbs up or down?
I didn't see it yet.
Oh.
So the vitriol reaction online was one or the other. Either it was great, fun, or it's an abomination and never should have been made.
Yeah, I got overruled to watch it last night, although I did see the fall of Favre, which...
How good was that?
Well, this morning my son left some stuff behind before he moved out, and he has a Favre jersey. He no longer...
Didn't go with him, huh?
No, it's going to the thrift shop. It's out of my house. What he
Not
did...
a good guy. Not a good guy.
No. I mean, I know he's not found directly guilty of the funds, but
not good.
Seems rather suspicious.
Yeah, there's a lot of
stuff going on.
A lot of smoke around that fire. All right, so I put down 3 positions for us to watch in fall camp and for our viewers and listeners to pay attention to with the Bison Open on Wednesday afternoon. So, and this can go in any order here. Put up on the screen here, Kolpack. I put offensive line number 1. There's 3 new starters there, which we'll get to in a second. Defensive tackle with the loss of Cody Heisman in the portal in April.
Depth you're talking about.
Yeah,
here.
I think the Bison there have just a couple guys that have played. And then tight end at number 3. And that seems, you might roll your eyes like tight end, but that's been a critical spot to the Bison's success. And they just have unproven guys they're going to have to play there. So you can go off. What position you want to start with?
Well, first of all, I'll agree with number 1 just because it's such a staple of the program. And new guys.
Yep.
Unproven guys. We'll see. I mean, I think Bo Johnson, that's a big
no doubt
guy to watch in fall camp and in September. I think Trent Fraley having your center back is a great start. Empey is going to be a 4-year starter.
It could be.
Lewinsky's got experience. And I'm not as concerned about that as I am tight end, just again, because what is there, 7 catches left?
7 career receptions of guys that have come back on the roster at the tight end spot.
So they got to find some guy. Again, I'm not saying they're not good enough. I'm just saying they're unproven, and you got to find that vertical threat a little bit too. Reese Kessel, I look out for that guy.
Okay.
So that'd be my one guy to watch. But I would put offensive line and tight end 1A.
Okay.
You could, but defensive tackle, yeah, it's a depth thing. But you have Dutenheffer, I think is really good. Keenan Wilson's really good. who am I missing?
Logan Larson is the other guy that's back
and
now.
he's been
Yep.
around a while too.
So this is offensive line. That's the new right tackle. That's Josh Magan from Shakopee, Minnesota, who came in as a defensive lineman. That's another guy to look at there. That's Devin Lockerbie, who could take that other guard spot at the right guard spot, depending on how things play out. That's a guy that Polsek has talked to you and me both about. Now, this is his
He's trying to light a fire on him,
This is his
too.
fourth
Yes.
year in the program. He's a fourth-year junior in Una, and that's Bo Johnson there, who's going to be the left tackle. But going back to Lockerbie quick, you have talked to me about this for time immemorial here. Normally, year 3, time to get going. Year 4, certainly, if you're not on, then this is the time. And you're right. Polsek has put his name out there to say it's either put up or shut up time.
Well, it's a big September for him.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
That Lockerbie could be that guy. Jack Lewinsky is another one who started a couple games last year. Nate Schneckloff's name is in there as well. So that's the competition, I
Tasted,
think. Nate
right?
Tasted could be, I think, is probably going to be likely the backup to Magan at right tackle. But that's something to see play out. But those young guys that Matt Entz went and got, his last recruiting class, he got Koyokasin out of Minot. He got Tasted, which is a guy that Polsek wanted to get when he was at Wyoming, and the Bison won on that one. That's a big one. The other one is Noah Stummis, whose name we heard quite a bit about from Watkins, Minnesota, who's also now a third-year sophomore, I want to say. That could be in the. He's a huge kid. He's like 6'7".
Yeah, it's a matter of him putting on the weight.
Correct.
He was 270 something last year.
That's the position battles. But if you're looking right now, I would imagine if you would go left to right, I would on July 28th, and we'll see how it goes August 30th. Johnson is your left tackle. Left guard is Empey. Fraley is your center. Right guard is up in the air. That's either Lockerbie or Lewinsky in my mind, and then Magan's the right tackle.
Last spring, was it, when I was on this show, your show, I questioned whether anybody was over 300 on the offensive line, and like a few days later, Jim Kramer texts me. He's in his
Thanks,
office.
Coach. Thanks for watching.
He's in his office with Trent Fraley next to the scale that said like 306 or something. They're all going. And there's a couple other players too, like 304, 307, and
they never watch.
No,
they never
you know
watch.
what? It was McFeely that wrote that. It was Mike that wrote that, and they thought I wrote that.
Of course.
So they sent it to me.
Let's go tight end. So Stuffle moves on, and here's a spot where, guys, they have been so many athletic, really good players, going all the way back to to the likes of Jeremiah Wurzbacher, Matt Veldman. I think of those guys. Andrew Bonnet, Carson Williams is the supposed leader in the club. He's the senior of this group, and then you've got Barnesville's Caden Zenzen in there. You've got this guy, redshirt freshman. That's another Zabel. That's Jet Zabel there. You mentioned Reese Kessel, young man, redshirt freshman out of Fargo South. That's Caden Zenzen there from Barnesville. Finn Diggins in the mix at Perham. I don't know who's going to be the guy here, Jeff. I don't.
Well, you asking me?
I don't know. Kessel has a lot of athletic ability. From what I was
fast.
told, he's one of the top 20 fastest guys on the roster at the tight end spot, which is intriguing.
Okay, best man win.
Yeah.
Here we go. I mean,
how much do you tip your hand to experience? Because Carson Williams has played the last 2 years.
he'll get the first shot, I would think.
Yeah.
He'll get the first shot. And again, with this non-conference schedule, some of these young guys,
I agree.
here's your shot.
Yep. I mean, these are 3 games the Bison are going to be heavily favored to win by probably 14 to 21 points in every game against the Citadel, against Tennessee State, and against SEMO.
And so with all these receivers, though, I think, okay, are there enough footballs to go around?
Right.
You're going to try to
But
want to get to those.
I
And
think
where does
to
the
your-
tight end
To
fits
your
in that?
point, though, want to see a little vertical passing game because
It
we
could
know
leave the tight end wide open.
right
Yeah.
because Williams can block, Diggins can certainly block, and Zenzen has shown that. They have not shown the ability to, frankly, catch the ball in space and go. They have not seen that.
Yeah, I think Bryce is going to get doubled. I mean,
Yeah.
they're going to have to pay attention to him. They're going to have to pay attention
Correct.
to Raja.
Yep.
I mean, you go down.
Chris Harris, Mekhi Collins, Jackson Williams, all those guys.
Osterman.
Yeah, I mean,
mean-
your guy Johnny Gores. I mean, there are guys there can make plays. We saw it all last year. There's going to be somebody open.
Here in St. Romain.
Isaiah St. Romain had a great spring
Yeah.
out of Williston.
Who's a Minot kid?
Logan Conklin,
Conklin.
another good
Yeah.
young player that they really like. That again, there's going to be somebody open. It's just about making the play and going upfield. Because Stuffle was excellent at that. Joe would make a catch, curl, and
7
go.
more yards.
Right, and break attack. It happened in the national championship game right after, if you'll remember, when Montana State when Malott scored to make that first drive of the second half, right? No, yeah. First drive. No, it was after the second one when they got within 3. The next drive, Cam hit Stuffle on a third down. He went and got another 4 yards and ended up setting the big play to Bryce to set up the last touchdown. That's what they need. They need somebody like that to be able to break tackle and go up the field at the tight end spot.
And a guy that doesn't catch it and tries to juke. Don't juke. You're a tight end.
Yeah.
Run over the D-back.
The only one who could do that was Andrew Bonnet, because Bonnet could literally leap over guys as he was doing that. Lastly is defensive tackle. First time, as I wrote about over the weekend, in 7 years, there's no Mostart on the roster. Keenan Wilson's a name you're going to have to get to know. I mean, number 58 there from Eagan, Minnesota. Another, got to tip your hat here. I know fans may have been begrudging about Matt Entz when he left. Entz did a heck of a job recruiting. He really did. He got this kid who was highly sought after in the Twin Cities, and he flashed last year, Jeff. I think he's got the real potential to be a run stopper in the middle.
That's what you need to win at the FCS level. You got to be really good at the D line, and which I think if you look at, it's the hardest position to recruit. Guys get poached all the time because depth at D-line at the FBS level.
And look what happened. I mean, Heisman went and got paid handsomely at Virginia Tech. I mean, Cody Heisman stays. This defense has a chance to be 2013-esque, in my opinion. I still think they could be really good.
I think they'll be really good,
but
too.
But Heisman, that's a tough loss because Cody was – look at what he did the last 7, 8, 9 games of last year.
And we haven't talked about losing Enoch Sibamana to the portal either, but I think Donovan Woolen is –
I don't think that's going to be as big a loss as maybe some believe. And that's no discredit to Enoch. I think it's more praise for what Woolen brings to the table.
Is Peter Haugo going to fit in there?
I think he's going to play too. I do. I think Haugo, Alta Peter, the Fargo and Moorhead kids are going to play quite a bit, along with the guys we just mentioned. And you bring back a 2-time first-teamer in Kopp, and Staling's good. Staling's got athletic ability,
and he's got the size. They haven't had a 235-pound middle linebacker in quite some time. Nick DeLuca.
I was going to say at middle, probably. Yeah.
DeLuca's 240.
No. Jackson Hankey's Dave's going to get mad at me. I can't remember how big Jackson was. I don't know if he was 6'3", though. I don't think he was 6'3".
I think he's 220.
Yeah, I'd have to look now quick. But that spot, and then another kid who got plenty of attention as well during the spring was another Fargo kid, Oliver Luck from Fargo Davies. He's going to be the backup to Staling in the middle. That's another guy that had a really good spring that could potentially get some run. He was 6'2", 219 his senior year, Jackson Hankey. So they haven't had that. And Hankey was a great middle linebacker, really good.
He played bigger.
He did.
He certainly played bigger.
Absolutely. But I don't believe they haven't had the athleticism in the middle since Nick. And that was 8 years ago now. I think that Staling could potentially provide them in that spot.
You're talking about the size.
Yeah, I think athleticism as well. I think because Kubitz and Wirtz Kubitz played well. I think they just were limited.
I think Jackson was pretty athletic.
Yeah, I think limited athletically over. Again, Hankey last year was 2021, so that's 4 years ago. So it's been a little bit at that spot. But I think to me, those are the three. You brought up some interesting points on running back that I might put that up there as well, because I just think after the top spot, they just have a lot of unknowns. Owen Johnson hasn't played a football game in 18 months. I don't know how much run Owen Johnson's going to get personally. You know, that I would almost put running back in there as well after hearing that.
Unless he might be the Derek Lang fullback type.
Maybe.
Kind of that hybrid, if you will.
Yeah.
He's a bigger kid.
Email comes in before we go. Gentlemen, any question on specialists? They have a new punter and place kicker this year. Place kicker, not so much, because Ozick kicked. I'm not worried about that. Aaron Bickerton now is the punter, and that will be something to watch as well, as much as we can of the specialists of when they get out there during fall camp. Is that something you're curious about or no?
Yeah, well, not as much as those others. I mean, just kick the ball.
Yeah.
Kick it.
Don't get it blocked.
Yeah.
I think we visited with him at the end of spring camp.
We did.
And he's been a starter. He started for 2 years at his previous school at Howard.
Big guy.
Yeah. He's not small, and he spent the last couple of years at specific punting camps. I think he's got a boomer of a leg. I'm really interested to see what they get out of that spot. But I agree, to your point, though that's not ahead of any of those
snapper,
spots.
Bowers is back.
Caleb Bowers is back
That's
for his
a big
third
deal.
year. Yep. Here we go, man.
All right.
Year 30. We're looking forward to seeing you out there on Wednesday.
Are we having steak? Can somebody in the name of Jewel Ronigan provide steaks?
That's unbelievable. So you had that full sit-down meal?
Yeah.
I guess you needed it if Rocky was talking for that
certainly
long,
wasn't
right?
as many of us covering it either.
Well, there's a lot less covering it now. That's unfortunately the case around here. Great to see you, man. We'll
Good to
see
see
you on
you.
Wednesday, all right? Jeff Kolpack joins us each and every Monday at 10 o'clock. Give us the latest of what's going on at NDSU. We'll break. We come back. The Fargo Little Leaguers are leaving for Indy later this week. Head coach Hans Anderson will join us in studio, get us ready for what they have coming up. That's when we come back right after this.